go. All right, so we're just gonna rest on our backs, a little support under the knees, making sure that your heels are actually in contact with the ground. And I'd like you to start to connect with your breath. Just becoming aware of your natural breath. So right now, not even trying to control anything, but just observe the breath for a few minutes here. As you're lying here on the floor, you just want to make sure that you're comfortable. If you need any support under the head, maybe a blanket, I'm happy to bring that. We just don't want our chin above our forehead. So if that's happening, we need to give some support under the back of the neck. Trying to find some comfort here so we can start to really focus on getting some awareness with our breath. So the breathing we're going to be doing is subtle, low, and slow. And the goal here is just to really get the breath to quiet down, but to still be full and rich. So we're going to be focusing on breathing in and just letting the belly rise and soften with the inhalation, kind of a relaxed expansion of the breath. As you exhale, you're going to start from the pubic bone. Actually, it starts even in the thighs, where you start to feel a little pulling up and in through the thighs, up through the pelvic floor, wrapping in of the abdominals, and kind of like you're squeezing toothpaste out of a tube. The breath is going to be expressed from the lower belly all the way up to the top of the lungs. And it should become pretty active, where you actually feel a little bit of engagement of your transverse abdominis, the muscles that wrap from around the ribs. So that's where we're headed, is that we're going to be taking our breath nice and easy. We're going to relax the belly, draw the breath in through the nose with the mouth sealed. And our exhalation will be kind of this engagement of just pulling in through the deep front line, from the inner thighs all the way up to the chest. To exhale, and then if you could just insert a little comfortable pause at the end of your exhales. And that comfortable pause, you just don't want to have to gasp to inhale. And I'm just going to let you play with that inhaling through the nose, the belly softens, everything relaxes. We let the breath we invite the breath in. And it's subtle, low, and slow. And then as you exhale, you reverse that. You're going to draw from the pubic bone to the navel, from the navel to the breastbone. I even can kind of feel when I'm exhaling, almost like I have a jawbone, and I can feel a little space around the jawbone. That tells me that I'm engaging the transverse abdominis, that I'm actually knitting my ribs in a little closer on the exhalation. Yeah, right? It's a good way to kind of gauge that. So if you have that benefit of a jawbone, it's the only time it'll be a benefit. So go ahead and continue with that on your own for just another minute here, just really dropping into the evenness, the long, slow inhales, long, complete exhales, and really following that whole concept of getting the whole abdominal region in the picture. So we're using the core stabilizing muscles in this breath, and it will become something that we want to keep with us as we move through the rest of the practice. Really getting in touch with those transverse abdominis and all of the lower lumbar region, the pelvic stabilizers. You might just start to notice that as you breathe in this way, with that little comfortable pause, you might even notice a little more saliva in the mouth. You will start to have the cascade of benefits of this type of breathing. More hydration, lubrication. Will start to clear if you're stuffed up. Just stick with it. I have so much good results with this. Just complete maybe 4 more cycles of breath. So 4 more inhales, 4 more exhales. All right, and I'm going to have you just now walk your feet in and let your feet plant on the earth. And you could slide that bolster out of the way for now. We'll get back to it at the end of class for Shavasana, but at this point you can set the bolster aside. At this point you can still keep your head and neck supported. And we're going to be letting our feet stay planted where they are for a second until I get situated here. I'm going to come in with you guys so I am on the video. You'll have that to refer back to. All right, so we're moving into those knees to chest positions. So from this place, you're going to bring the knees in and get a hand on each knee. And once you've got the hands on each knee, we're going to just exhale and bring both knees into the chest. As you inhale, the legs are going to go out just the distance that your arms will allow them to go. Exhale, that same kind of engagement in the core when you exhale. As you inhale, you soften. So the breath we were just doing, now we're just adding this movement. Exhaling, we draw the knees in. Inhaling, we let the legs go back, just as far as the arms will allow. 2 more repetitions here. Beautiful. Let's let those feet plant down. Just letting that, just observe for a moment, right? Just a very simple movement, allowing for the knees to move, a little release of the lumbar spine. We're just going to move right on to butterfly with the 2-part exhale. So bringing the feet to touch, we let the knees fall open. And it's still okay to have this support under the head. So from here with the 2-part exhalation, we're going to go super slow. Remember, my tendency is to be too fast, which is all of us. Let's exhale, bring them halfway. And that same breath, drawing in through the navel. Exhale, squeeze them the rest of the way. Express the rest of the breath and pull the knees, really squeeze. Inhale, slowly open. Don't let them just flop. Use a little engagement to open. As you exhale, halfway. So that would be the pubic bone to navel. And then exhale the rest of the way, navel to breastbone. Pull them together, hold. Inhale, with control, open up. That butterfly, open. And as you exhale, halfway, pubic bone to belly. And the rest of the way, belly to breastbone. Squeeze, pause, hold. We'll go 1 more repetition. Inhale, the legs open. Exhale, come halfway. Exhale the rest of the way. Squeeze and hold. And then just release it and bring the feet back to plant on the earth. And observe, again, just letting ourselves kind of look at each posture and see if there's any effect. All right, so from here we're going to come in and we're going to just bring those knees in and we're going to clasp our hands behind the thighs, just below the knee. So you're not on top of the knees, you're behind the thighs. And as you inhale, you're going to let the legs extend. This is a warm-up. So the heels go to the ceiling and actively pull the heels to the ceiling. As you exhale, as you bend the knees, you're also going to draw the knees sort of to the chest. As you inhale, the legs are going to lengthen up to the sky. We're going to press the heels up. It's like a legs up the wall. As you exhale, the knees draw in. As you inhale, you're going to send them up, press the heels to the ceiling. Let's do 2 more just like that. Draw it in, just getting the joints warmed up. Inhale, lengthen. And the last one, we'll pull it in. And we'll inhale and we'll leave the feet up. We're going to transition right into the open leg variation. So we're going to inhale, open the legs wide. You can use the hands on the inner thighs like the backs of the palms against. As you exhale, bring the heels together, squeeze everything in, zip it up. Ankles touch, knees touch, thighs touch. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bring them back in. Squeeze it, hold. Inhale with control, so don't just let it go to gravity, right? Open it up with control. It's also safer. Exhale, squeeze them together. I like to have a little flex of the feet, toes toward my face. As we inhale, we'll open it 2 more times. Pause. Let's pause for this one. And then exhale, squeeze, and pause at the top. Squeeze a little harder. Hold, hold, hold. Let's inhale, open it up. And final one, we'll squeeze it together, hold. And then let the knees soften and drop the feet to the earth and just pause. Pause here, rest. All right, we're gonna roll to our sides. Use your hands to push up and transition to tabletop. And now that you're coming up into hands and knees, I'm gonna turn the lights up a little bit. Good. Sit up. Good, so you can pad up your knees here. I like to put a blanket under my knees or one of these little cushy pads. You decide what you need. And we're gonna just make sure that in tabletop, we've got the hips right over the knees. We've got the shoulders over the wrists. Your middle finger's pointing more or less at 12 o'clock. And you're not collapsing here. You really wanna activate through the shoulders. Draw the navel in. You start with a good stabilized core here. So the navel drawing in towards the spine. And then we're gonna just start to move through the wheel pose here, which you guys have practiced a lot in this last 5 weeks. We exhale like we're going into Mad Cat, and we're gonna exhale halfway back, pause. As you inhale, you're gonna roll forward. As you're rolling forward, you're giving a little smile shape to the back with that cow tilt, but we're not throwing the head back. Keep the back of the neck long. On your exhale, the tailbone tucks. We initiate the cat tuck, and then round back, the forearms rest to the earth, and we put the brakes on and just let the hips hover about 6 inches above the heels. With our inhale, ride it forward. With your exhale, tuck the tail, engage the core, pull the navel in, roll back, pause there. Let's do 2 more just like that with the 2 parts. So we'll inhale, and we'll exhale, go halfway. Inhale, ride it forward. The next couple, I want to exhale all the way back. Let the hips drop to the heels. Round in, your forehead touches to the earth. As you inhale, we're going to ride it forward from the full child's pose. As you exhale, round in, and just keep going like you were going to stop, but you're going to keep it going. Your forearms rest, your forehead drops. And finally, we'll do 1 more to rise back up. Inhale, coming into our table. From here, we're going to move into our cobra pose. So you're going to need to crawl the hands forward. I like to give a little support under my pelvis with my blanket. You don't want it really small so that it's raising the pelvis. You just want a little bit more surface area there to support. So I fold to about this amount, not here, right? So about here. You could even do it less, but this is just right. And you want to let the pelvis actually rest completely on there. So it's about at my mid-thigh right up into my, just below the rib cage. And then from here, with Cobra, I just want to make sure, we're going to do the alternate head to each side, and then we're going to do the Cobra where we take the legs. We're not going to do the swimmer variation, but feet touch, feet touch, feet touch. So we're going in 2 different Cobras. The first thing for Cobra is that we want to make sure that we found a place for the arms that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable to have the elbows in tight to the sides, please give yourself grace and a little space, right? Bring them out a little bit from the shoulders. From here, we want to keep the toes pressing down. You want to engage the navel a little bit. So a little pull into the belly, like I feel my belly lift up and in. And as we inhale, we'll come up to the center. As we exhale, we'll come down. Doesn't matter, one ear goes to the mat. Little engagement as you inhale, feet press. Keep the back of the neck long. Exhale, opposite ear comes down. Inhale. Squeeze the belly, get a little support for the lumbar spine. Exhale, bring the left ear, opposite ear down. Turning the head side to side helps to stretch the neck. Inhale, come up, which we know the deep front line is in the neck all the way down. So exhale, lower. And we're really starting to feel that last week. We had that aha moment. Come up to center. We'll do 1 more each side. Exhale, head down. Up to center with your in-breath. And exhale, opposite side. All right, let's just rest for a moment. Bring your hands to stack. Place your forehead on your hands. You can let your toes just stay on the earth. You could turn the toes out and just a gentle sway of the hips. A little release and rest before we move on to the second variation.
So we did a little experiment last week for those of you that weren't here, and I was basically saying the difference between cobra with the head back and when you tuck the head. Everybody do this just because you should feel this, right? We were up here and I said, feel cobra here, and then feel cobra when you go here. And do you feel how when you tuck your chin and you draw the chin back and kind of get Jalandhara Bandha, how you automatically feel Uddiyana Bandha, which is the middle lock. So when I go from here to here, I can feel the engagement in the deep core in the front line. And that's huge. Like that was a huge thing for me as a yoga teacher to actually feel what I know I'm trying to teach. And I'm going to teach that all the time now. Because I have such a hard time getting people stopping this. It's not useful. This is how we keep the core stabilized. It's the long back neck. It's not this. Don't be mistaken. Right? It's this. It's the back of the head pressing. Okay, so bring your feet close together. You're going to have the same comfortable position for the arms. In Cobra, technically, if you can get a little bit of an isometric drag back on the hands. Nothing crazy, but just a little pull back. As you inhale, you're going to come up with the feet about maybe 3 or 4 inches apart. As you exhale, just tap your forehead. Separate the feet a couple of inches. Inhale, lift again. Notice if there's a difference as we start widening the feet. Exhale, bring it down. Bring those feet a little bit wider and come up again. Inhale. And exhale. Remember, back of the neck along, we're a little engagement of the core. Feet go, knee toes to the edges of your mat, and inhale, come up again. Exhale, release it down. We'll walk those feet in. Just pause here for a moment, take your hands and press into table. Anybody have any notice of, as far as when the feet get a little wider, does it get easier on the low back?
Yes.
That's a thing. As we get the feet a little wider in Cobra, it will start to help your low back. So maybe in classes, you start to give yourself a little width between the feet if you're feeling compressed in the low back. Okay, so from table, we're going to do wheel pose again, because now that's a counter to those Cobras, right? So for those of you that are in teacher training and we do the pose counter pose, wheel is a neutralizer. So we're just going to do 2 or 3. As you exhale, round the spine, start to bend into the elbows, and let these go all the way back. You could modify this in your own practice. If you like the halves, you could do some halves and then wholes. Inhale to ride the breath forward, drag back on the hands. Exhale as you press into the hands, you round the spine, the forearms drop, the hips will slowly rest down to the heels. And again, 2 more just on your own breath. When you're ready to exhale, you exhale. Don't wait for my cueing. I want you to start to be able to kind of feel your own pace. And if you think you're going too fast, you probably are. I was told constantly, slow down, slow down. And when you finally get through with your couple more, we're going to crawl it back up, and we're going to rise up into a kneeling position. This is a place where you might want to drag in some blocks to have handy. Okay, so standing on our knees, we've got a couple things we're going to do here. We're going to do our kneeling lunge, we're going to do our thunderbolt, and we're going to do our kneeling side bend. So you see how I'm building the sequencing. When we get to kneeling, we're going to do all our kneeling pieces. Okay, so from here, the kneeling, first thing I said was kneeling lunge. So let me grab my blocks. I want to be able to demo with blocks. Let's start with our right leg. Your right leg will come forward. And when we come into the kneeling lunge, I want you to start by just making sure your feet are on opposite sides of center, that you haven't walked the 2 feet onto a tightrope. The feet should line up with the hips. And we want it to start to settle in. Use your blocks so that you can find the distance between this heel and this knee that's manageable. Exactly. Look at the front knee. The knee needs to be over the ankle. The knee should not be way out ahead of it. It's just too much. If you feel like you need more stretch in the left hip, then the thing to do would be to walk the foot forward a little bit, and that will allow you to sink in a little bit more. You always want to protect the knees. Once you're here and you feel stable here, you could start to bring the hands up onto the knee. So both hands on the knee. And we're going to just start with this tiny little bit of lifting up, like it's tiny, and then exhale, just sink down a little bit. Inhale, we'll pick up just a little bit. Exhale, settle in. And we'll do one more just like that. I'm gonna have you hold and settle because I just realized I never turned the air on. Are we all sweating? Let's get some cool going. Yeah, let's take advantage of heavy. How did people live here without air conditioning? Okay, from the upstate New York girl. All right, so from here, now we're gonna keep the right hand on the knee. And the right hand is energetically, I like to think about that right hand kind of stabilizing, but also giving a little energy of that knee forward. This hand is gonna rest at the side. As we inhale, we're gonna lift up, and as we exhale, we'll just let it sink in. So you'll be getting that little lift and reach, and exhale drop. We'll do two more. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, sink. This is giving a stretch to the deep front line, the psoas, hip flexors. Now we're staying here. Take some breaths. Stay with me in the lift. We're gonna exhale into a little side bend. Not overdo it, just enough that you feel a little bit more. The psoas comes down through the center of the belly and wraps into the inner part of the thigh, the top of the lesser trochanter of the femur. And that's what we're after here. All right, let's release it out. Okay, slowly walk it back, walk your blocks back. Don't move fast out of that. That's a big stretch. Come back into kneeling. In the middle here, we're going to just do a couple of the thunderbolts. So inhale, we'll reach up. As you exhale, you're going to start to let the hips drop, curl down. The hands will rest onto the lumbar spine or just at the back of the low back. As you inhale, you'll press into the knees, rise up, reach up, lengthen through the sides. As you exhale, the palms rotate, they rest down, the crown of the head drops, forehead releases. If your head's not touching the ground, bring a blanket in. Inhale, reach up, block in. Just want to make sure we can actually completely relax. Let's go one more time. And then this one will just stay there for a couple breaths. I like to make sure my hands are planted and my elbows can flop down so I feel a big stretch in the upper back, the trapezius, lats, rhomboids. All right, we're going to rise up. Come on up, reach your arms up. And exhale, hands come down. Grab your blocks, take your left leg forward. Switch and do the other side. So once you've got yourself set, you're satisfied, I have enough stretch, not too much, it's just right. You want the perfect place between effort and ease. It's the sattvic spot. Sattva in yoga is that perfect sweet spot where the nectar is. All right, so once we feel stable, we've got the knees all set, you can walk up. Support, always welcome to prop the knee if that goes without saying. Once we've got that, we'll let the right arm get stretched. I'm sorry, keep it here. Let's do a few of the little lift and lower. So just pulsing without the arm movement first. So we'll get the in-breath as we come up. Exhale, sink. Lift. And then let's settle in, let the right arm rest. We're gonna reverse that breath. You're gonna inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop it. Inhale, reach, feel it lifting up out of that knee. Exhale, sink. Two more, inhale, reach. Exhale, sink. And the last one, we're gonna hold in it. Keep the breath moving, so don't hold your breath all the time. Let's all take a breath in to prepare. And as you exhale, lean over a little bit and just stay here for a couple breaths. Feel how the breath plays out. Make sure we're not dumping into a back bend. Pull the navel in. Reach over into the side bend. Nice. And then we'll come back to center. I like to support myself with the block. You kind of ride it through a half split and then bring that knee back. Just pause here. Just observe, right? We've done both sides. Observe. We've evened them out. And we're going to take it into the right side again. And I think what I'll do is, because I want to do this. I want the camera to see me, but I'm going to go bring my back to the camera. So we're coming into a kneeling warrior two. So the left knee is kneeling, and the right foot will come out to the, you can go to the side like that. I think I like to have my foot on the mat. So but if you feel stable, like your foot's not going to slide away, you're fine. So you decide where you prefer to be. You wanna be able to see me too, so. There you go. So we got the right leg forward, the left foot, knee is bent, and foot's out behind us, and that's half of this pose setup, right? So we're trying to get, it's a kneeling warrior two, and we're ending up going into a kneeling side angle. So the right forearm is gonna rest onto the right knee. We're tracking the knee, remember, over the ankle, not beyond, right? And this is that kneeling side bend. So this left arm is gonna reach up and kind of lengthen over. This looks like an extended side angle. So switch, there you go.
Okay.
Extended side angle, right? Then the movement is this. The arm is gonna drop down and you're gonna look to the right. As you inhale, the arm's gonna come up, reach up and out of the shoulder, and you come back to the neutral, look straight ahead. Exhale, arm reaches, it hovers. Don't let it rest on the hip. Inhale, bring it up. Reach it up and over a little bit, like a side angle. Inhale, right, your arm looks over to the side. I'm sorry, that was exhale. Inhale, bring it up. I'm not gonna talk so much. Exhale, bring it down. Change the focal point, the drishti. Inhale, up. And this time, exhale, pull the elbow down like you're pulling down in a lap bar pull down. So we're pulling this way, and then we're inhaling and we're reaching up. Exhale, pull it down. Turn the head. Inhale, lengthen, the head goes straight. This is straight. As you exhale and pull, we look over. Or maybe I don't, that's right. Inhale, bring it up. Don't hold me to it. Exhale, through this head turn thing is killing me. All right, one more time. We'll inhale, reach it up and lengthen. And as you exhale, pull and rotate. That's the same principle. Okay, and then we're just gonna release it out. Come back in, pull the leg in, just pause. I like to just rest in the kneeling position. We do not need to do the thunderbolts here. Just rest and kneeling. Feel the difference. And then we'll switch. The left leg will go out. The right knee will pivot around. We set it up. I try to look at this right leg. It should be vertical, right? And then this leg goes out and we've got good stability here. We're gonna lean over a little bit. We're already starting the side bend. As soon as we set the forearm, see how my body goes into a little side bend. Then the arm reaches up. We inhale. As we exhale, the arm goes down and we just let the head turn a little bit toward the front. Inhale, looking straight ahead, reach the arm, anchor the knee. Inhale, hover it over, stretch the neck. Inhale, come up, lengthen, reach, exhale, turn. One more time, we'll inhale, reach, and lengthen it up. Exhale here. This is the one where we're gonna switch. We'll inhale up. And as we exhale, we'll pull down and we'll look over the left shoulder. As we inhale, we'll reach up, make sure you're getting the length. Exhale, rotate, pull down, look over the shoulder. Try to get it all together. Inhale, look, lengthen. Exhale, pull and rotate the head. One more time, inhale, reach. Exhale, rotate. Beautiful. This one we'll just reach up. We'll pivot around. Use your blocks if you need them. Come back to neutral. We will go from here to hands and knees. Go down here. Yep, hands and knees. And what will we do to neutralize? Guess.
Wheel.
Wheel. Okay, good. So we're going to go to wheel, and we're going to do the, oh yes, wheel with a little bit of that pause in the middle. So we're going to go halfway pause and then go the rest of the way. So inhale to prepare, keep the back of the neck long. As you exhale, go halfway, hold for a second. Then exhale the rest of the way, hips to heel. Inhale, one movement forward. Exhale, two movements back. Halfway. And then the rest of the way, expel the rest of the breath. Let's do two more like that. Inhale, draw it forward. Exhale, start your way back. We tuck the tail, we draw the navel in, we pause, and then we let go the rest of the way with the breath. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Pause. Exhale the rest of the way. Rest in child's pose for a couple of breaths.
I have a question. Doing the two pauses, do they do that to make sure we're going slowly?
To slow you down and to get you in touch with the two parts of the movement, two parts of the breath.
Okay.
To synchronize that so that we start to get that low belly to mid belly, upper belly exhalation. Good question. Okay, so we will come to standing now. So slow transitions, right? You'll come on up. You can remove the blanket right now out of your way. You don't want to trip on it as we're moving around. So nothing on your mat. You can have your, I don't think you're even going to need blocks. Well, keep the blocks at the top of your mat in case you want them for your forward fold. Okay, so this is a more traditional cadence to a class. You start on the ground, you come to standing, we'll end up back on the ground. So here's where we're going to start. Coming into our mountain pose, Tadasana. So getting at the top of your mat. You want to start to look at your feet and decide, okay, are my feet parallel? Because if we have tight abs or tightness in the deep core, we might find that our feet are turning out or not, very rarely turning in. Usually it's a rotation out.
So the thing about getting them parallel, last time you said to get the outside
Yes,
straight, and that feels like I'm a pigeon now.
it does feel that way. And you probably are a little over, so like modulate, it was too much. So we're in the middle, right about in there, right? So if I look at if I were to look at the outside edge, we want this parallel to the outside edge of the mat. So let's try it. Let's see
So
what
that looks parallel to me.
Okay, yep, so find that, find it. And it does make you look like you're pigeon-toed. It's just not where we're used to being. It's not though. This is pigeon-toed, right? We can reset that up. And then once you're there, see about just pushing the 2 feet away from each other, like you were trying to split your mat. Feel that in the sacrum. Feel how that affects the sacrum when we start to really engage the feet and we press into all 4 corners. Now find that moving up, right? Not locking the knees, right? But we're also not lazy in the knees. We want strength in the knees. And then notice, where's your pelvis? Are you riding forward? Are you back? Where's your shoulders? I mean, there's people that live like this is how their stance is, right?
I'm a skier.
Yes. Just find your, center. I can catch myself here. That we're like people that are always out in the future. Never. All right. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Start to connect with your breath, right? Just see this as home base, right? Feel the engagement. We're not just letting the back, go. We're pulling the tailbone under gently. We can overcorrect too. Then it's not functional. All right, so from mountain pose, we're going to do a chair pose a couple times, and we're going to basically be doing it. First couple times will be a 4-count exhale, and the other 2 will be, we're going to go 6 count and 8 count, which again is to slow us down, but also to kind of keep us honest here. So, all right, the chair pose that we do in class is get it out of your head, right? Out of your head, the traditional chair pose. The arms are not going up anywhere. The arms are going to ride right down the thighs. And I want you to think like you were one of those lifts that has the accordion legs. So at the same time that your legs are going down, your chest is moving forward and you're going to round down. But you don't round down. You don't let it all go rounding in the lumbar spine until you've gotten in. And then the reverse is just you ride the hands up. And then when you get to the knees, you're going to lift the head and lengthen the chest and then press into the legs to come up. So it's a lot of active in the legs, which chair pose is. Strengthener, right? We sit, and see how I've not rounded yet? I'm not rounded yet. I'm coming down. At the last minute, I round in. And I keep the knees a little soft. Keep that little bend. As we inhale, we're going to reverse it. You're going to lift the head and lengthen, draw the shoulders back. And then as you press into the heels, you're going to press in, and everything presses up together. So try that a couple more times. Exhaling. We're going to go, let's go a 4 count. 4, 3, 2, 1, round. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, press. One more at 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, round. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift. Just observe. It's a slowed down variation. It's not this, right? But when you look at this, right, we come here,
We're still holding the legs, right? Nothing has changed in my legs when I go past that point. And then the reverse is this. See how I'm not just coming up rounded? You want to come up, cobra the heart, lift up, lengthen, not here, but here, and then press it all up and it all unfolds. It's this whole idea of kind of the hip joint, the knee joint, all moving together. So we did a couple chair poses. Let's do one at the 6 count and one at the 8 count, so you get the feel. All right, so hands here, take a breath in. Exhale, slow. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more 8 count. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, bend the knees more, 3, 2, 1, round, relax, inhale, lift and open, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you feel some heat build?
Mm-hmm.
I felt a little heat building, even though it wasn't like this today. Because I teach some crazy chair stuff in class. Okay, so let's just pause, observe, so I can read what's next. I'm gonna stick to my plan. I've done pretty good so far. Okay, so we did the chair pose 4, 6, 8 count, the warrior 1 pose. So we're gonna do 2 variations. Okay, got it. All right, so let's actually, to go into warrior 1, I think I would rather step back on the mat. And we will just take the right foot and step it forward, the left foot steps back. We want to get 3 to 4 feet depending on how tall we are. We want to make sure that our feet are on opposite sides of center. We're not on a tightrope again. We give ourselves lateral stability. We do not want the back foot turned out like this. It's not useful for the knee then to try to bring the hip forward. So we lift the toes and we orient them. I go at about a 30-degree turnout for warrior. Okay, so then I can really square the hips and then watch for this, right? We don't want this anterior tilt on the pelvis. We're just gonna, you might even do this, just gently pull up a little bit and smooth the low back down. Bend into the front knee, right? And then just a couple times you might just bend in and bend out and just find your depth in the pose. If you feel like your knee keeps going past, you might want to wiggle the front foot forward a little bit. Give yourself the distance that feels, you want to stretch in this leg, right? Then we're going to take the hands to the hips, and for warrior 1, rather than trying to stack shoulders over hips, let's just give it that little pitch. Remember the multifidi that run along the spine, those little ones that just kind of intertwine? This is going to make the multifidi work. Then, it's also going to take the lumbar curve out, right? It's going to activate it. We're going to just do a little movement now as we inhale. Notice I'm not here either. I've also created the line of the back of the neck. We're going to inhale, open up, roll those arms out, exhale, bring them down. We're staying right in the knee. Inhale, roll it back. Exhale, bring it down. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. And last one, we'll inhale. We'll just hold here for a moment. Take a couple breaths. Perfect. Bringing the hands onto the hips. Let's step the back foot forward. Good. We'll switch sides. The right foot can step back. The left foot stays forward. We come in and we try to get this kind of squaring up, get everything set. The back leg is strong. The back toe's not turned out too much. Perfect. Settle in. Square the shoulders and hips. And then just bring it forward, almost like I had drawn a line on the angle of that back leg. And when we keep the angle of the torso and the angle of the leg together, we start to not only require more strength in the back body, but we take the lumbar curve out. Okay? Nice. Now let's inhale, open. Exhale, open. So as you're inhaling, the belly's gonna soften. Just like that first breath, as you exhale, feel the navel draw in. Feel how it brings stability. Inhale, little core work. Exhale. 2 more, inhale. Rotate the arms, we take care of some of the rounding of the upper back. Exhale. This is all based in vinyasa. Very practice out. Exhale, bring it down. Let's hold this last one, inhale. We wanna make sure the back foot is firm but relaxed. Hover and breathe. Great, we're gonna bring the hands to the hips, and to come out, step the back foot forward, rather than trying to float a leg backwards behind us. Good, just observe. Stay with it, just, and there's something that she calls pendiculation, where you just would kind of like in between poses, she would just have a super random movement. Like you were just, I don't know, tripping. Love this on my video. You're woodstocking. Okay, let's come back into our mountain. I would say I prefer, especially with beginners or anybody that has an instability, so if you were to share this and want to teach this, for those of you that are teaching, stepping forward into a warrior rather than stepping back. So we'll go back to the right leg. Step the right foot forward and just get stable. You'll just feel the difference. I'll have you step in both ways and you can say which side felt a little more stable. Once we're in, it's going to be the same warrior setup. The arms are going to come forward a little bit, where we're going to do the lat pull down variation. So we'll be inhaling, reaching up, and as we exhale, pull down. Really feel that navel draw in. So I don't want this to be like belly out. Inhale, lengthen, you're getting length. Exhale, pull the navel in. Feel the stabilization of the lumbar. Inhale, reach, lengthen. Exhale, pull it down. So we're getting some stretch in the side body and then strengthening through the core. Inhale. Exhale, pull down like you've got a resistance. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Perfect. Hands to the hips. Step the back foot forward. Find your Tadasana again. Observe for a moment. And then we'll step back this time. Feel the difference. Stepping back. Not a huge big deal, right? But now you have to look. Did I step where I needed to step? And there's all that, right? So as long as we switch sides, left foot's forward, right foot's back. A little bit less turnout will make your knee happier. Even less. There you go. Now bend it in. Feel the stability. Think about it. When I turn the knee out this way, and then I drive the hip, I turn the foot that way, but I drive the hip this way, what's between them? The knee. And the foot's wanting to go that way, the hip's wanting to go this way, the knee's like, what the hell? Where do you want to be, right? It needs to be in line. Okay. Now I'll just be anti on this YouTube video because I said that. Lean forward. It'll be like, it'll have the E next to it, explicit. All right, so line it in and then feel the back line strong, because now you're leaning in. It's actually less compression, but it's more work. Crazy as it is, right? Little lean in. All right, so we're going to do the lat bar pull down, reach the arms up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it. Inhale, reach and lengthen. As you exhale, belly pulls in. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. And 1 more, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Just hold it for a second. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, circle them down and step the back foot forward. Find Tadasana again. So this time we're going to do a forward fold, which to me, I had to really go back and think, how is chair different than forward fold? And you might need to visit those pages yourself again. The best I can say is that it's all we're doing differently. In the chair pose, we're actually squatting a lot more in and out. With the forward fold, I'll demonstrate. So with the forward fold, I've got my hands here. In the forward fold, we're not doing all this that we do in a vinyasa. So we're just going to inhale here. And as we exhale, I soften, but see how I'm not bending so much in the knees. I just soften in the knees. I stay long, same thing, round in. In the forward fold, then you could pull the knees back a little bit, right? We don't have to stay in the bend. Watch this. See the angle on my knees? I'm going to keep that angle. When I inhale to lift, this is the key. I want to lengthen my spine, almost like a half lift, right? So I'm coming out before I start the rise, right? And it's everything for low back. To get length rather than, I hate to even demonstrate it, coming up like this. Where I've stayed curled, I've kept this, and then I'm lifting from there, right? So when I come up from a forward fold and I get here first, now I can feel these, right? And here, I feel all this helping, so it's not dead weight lifting from the lumbar spine, it's coming from the hips and from the hinge. All right, so let's try it. Hands here. It's going to be hard. You're going to want to do all this, but don't. Take a breath in. As you exhale, soften the knees and just slide the hands down. Keep the spine long, like I had a little string on your forehead, on the crown of your head. When you get to the hips, then you can round the rest of the way. And just hang there for a second. Let the weight move into the toes, to the heels. Now here's important. We're going to inhale to come up. So we're going to start to extend the spine, which means you're going to lift the head up first. The head's heavy. Extend the heart. Hands will start to crawl up the shins. We're going to just slide them back up, slide them back up, slide them back up, creating length. Let's go in one more time. Exhale. Soften the knees. You keep the long spine. Keep the long spine. Once you pass the hips, you can start to let the head drop. And now the head can just kind of pull you in. And just imagine you had a ponytail on your head and you can just kind of paint the floor, just sway the ponytail onto the floor. Good. With your next inhalation, lift the head, lengthen. The hands will come to rest on the shins. You got that length of a half lift. Start rolling it up. Press in, press in, press in. When you get to the top, let's just roll those shoulders back. And find your center again, that plumb line of Tadasana. Okay, let's take a little break, get a drink of water, and we'll move on from there. Any questions popping up?
I watched you do that class the other day. And I was like, what is she doing? I was just here. Got it now.
People are seeing me practice this way in the classes, and yeah, get ready because there's going to be teachers going, what are you doing? What are you doing, right? Like,
Probably some teachers kind of correct us too.
right, especially when you're here, when you're here and you're warrior.
Yeah.
And you just need to say, I'm modifying. Back up, Barbie.
That's right.
Back up, Barbie. Make them laugh, right? Back up, Barbie. Yeah.
No,
And
they're all good.
no, they're good. As
Yeah.
soon as they know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
like what I'm gonna try to do is kind of tutor them as they're in my classes too, like my back, I'm teaching it that way. In the back class, we offer this. And I'm offering it in my classes so that people that do have that compression can make that
And
change.
then they can see that there's other options.
Trust me, when she taught in this class, she had somebody, she said, okay, show me your bird dog, right? And the person went, right? And she was like,
That's
come
right.
out, right? Come out, because
Right.
it's not here. You want to come in, you want to establish the core, right? So we don't want to go into this already from here, right? You want to go in from here, right? So you pulled in, establish the core, establish the strength in the body. Let's just start by sending the leg back. Don't lose the left hip, stays engaged. We keep the heel in line with the hip, not up here, but here. Pull it in, dial it down. That could be enough. Only then, maybe. Extend, look at my neck, look at the core drawn in, look at the stabilization, the strength, versus this the leg is hanging on the low back. If we send the leg out behind us and we don't establish the core, all of the weight of the leg is dragging on the low back. And I did it for years. And it's just it's a lot of awareness. Oh, see, I got on a tangent. Can't help the tangents. Okay, so we did the forward bend. Now we're going to do the asymmetrical forward bend. Honestly, for me, I think you have to use blocks for this. They don't teach it with blocks in this program. I prefer the blocks. So let's start from back at maybe about mid-mat. Have your blocks ready. Actually, let's put the blocks in our hands. Let's do that. So take the blocks in your hands. Let's step the right foot forward. This is a little shorter than a warrior. You guys know this is pyramid pose. We are on railroad tracks. The back foot is less of a turnout than a warrior, right? And then what they're saying is that we're forward folding in the same way, right? So we're keeping length, we're keeping length, we're keeping length. And they would have you just slide down the leg, which, I mean, it's doable, right? But I tend to round when my hands are pulled into my leg. I like the blocks. Bring the blocks in. And then keeping the length until you get past the hips. Then you can let the upper back round in a little bit, but keep long and try to keep the pelvis level. Good. Now we're going to inhale and lengthen forward first. So the same thing we did in the forward fold. So you come to the half lift And then you could leave the blocks and slide the hand up the leg. Come up. Exhale, slide it down, slide it down, halfway. You could leave the hand on the shin, or you could let the hand split and fall and roll it the rest of the way in. You can have a little softness in the knee if you need it. And then finally, one more time, you're gonna lengthen first. Crown reaches, that's your point. You're inhaling up with length in the spine. Good. Now hands on the hips, step the back foot forward. That is called Parsvottanasana in Sanskrit, intense side stretching. That's a big hamstring stretch. Many people with low back issues just have really tight hamstrings. Runners, sitters. So that's why that's in this sequence. It's the one that's really gonna get to the hamstrings. All right, so switch. We'll keep the left leg forward. Make sure you're on the railroad tracks. I don't like a big turnout in that back leg. I like the hips, the pelvis, shoulders forward. And then not this, here, right? Every pose, you think about mountain in every pose. Think about your breathing exercise in every pose. This is me with lumbar, the lumbar compression here. But watch, instead of here, I put my girdle on, my transverse abdominis girdle. It's like belly, no belly. Just kidding. All right, from here, slide the hands down the leg. Keep long spine. So you're kind of looking out ahead of you a little bit, but not compressing the neck. Keep the neck long. When you get in and you feel a difference between your two legs, anybody?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my left leg stopped about halfway of where my right leg would go. So just hang with this one, maybe a little longer. Feel the stretch, feel the neck lengthen. And when you're ready to inhale, you can lengthen the spine. That's why I like the blocks, because I can get long, then slide my hands to the shin, and then roll it up with length. So we're not really rolling up, we're hinging up. Let's go in again, inhale. We exhale to go in. Hold the navel in, stabilize, keep long in the spine. When you get down and you want to split the hands, you can rest the hands to the blocks. Let everything lengthen, curl in, soften. We'll inhale, get length in the spine first, reach your crown forward. You'll start to walk the hands to the shin, keep the length, press into the feet, rise up. Does anybody feel any low back discomfort coming up that way?
No,
It's so nice. Don't lose that awareness in class, right? Like when we're calling, if the teacher's not calling all that, that doesn't mean you can't do it. So when we are calling Parsvottanasana, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna stay long, I'm gonna stay long, I'm gonna stay long. Once I pass to the mark of the line of my hip, I can soften. But before I come up, this is where I'm getting the weight distributed, right? I'm getting the head to carry the head, the chest is carrying the chest, my legs are firm, and then I can move. Here I am. And it's also very strengthening. It changes everything. All right, let's step the back foot forward, come into your standing mountain pose. Feeling that, standing, that's called the asymmetrical forward fold in the lingo of the Essential Low Back program of Robin Rothenberg. Okay, so we did that. Okay, we're going back to hands and knees. Perfect, so get your padding. Get all your props handy so you don't have to get up and go across the room. Because from here on out, we're gonna be down. So you're not gonna wanna have to get back up to get your blocks or any of your stuff. So for kneeling, if you like to pad the knees, what will we do is like the balancer. Guess.
Bird dog.
Yes. Actually, we're gonna do wheel. Because bird dog's
Oh,
not,
the
it's not
balancer's
in
in the
her
bends.
sequence. Yes. She doesn't put that in this sequence.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's not,
It's
they
really
call it a
hard.
spinal balance, and 9 times out of 10, it's a spinal, disaster.
Well, because, and I learned that in Pilates even before I learned it in yoga. Just years of straighten your leg, make sure you're balanced, don't lift
There's so much
high,
awareness
don't-
to it. So now you can do it, but you can do it with all that awareness. All right, tabletop, we're gonna do the wheel. So wheel, again, is what she uses almost like a down dog or as a neutralizer. So inhale, we lengthen the spine, we get that little smile shape on our back. As you exhale, you tuck the chin, you round the tail, you get that motion started before you sink back all the way to the heels. Inhale, ride it back up. Don't throw the head back. Exhale, round in, tuck in. You can go really slow, like when I'm going, I usually pause at that 6, even for just a beat, and then that 6 inches from the heels, and then just rest in, take a couple breaths into the low back. When you breathe deep in this shape, it's gonna force the breath to the back of the lungs, to the back body, because we're compressing the front lungs, front body. Great, and then we're just gonna crawl it back up to kneeling. And I believe at this point, we come to our belly for some more cobras. Belly for cobras. Oh God, I gotta get through everything. They're gonna just have to wait outside till we're done. Back to your belly for some cobras. So the favorite of everybody, the swimmer's variation of cobra. We're gonna skip the alternate leg variation for time purposes, because that's pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna go right into the cobra swimmers. So this is a strengthener, right? So the cobra swimmers are strengthening for the back body. You're gonna get those feet to be just about hip distance, maybe a little closer than hips. As you come up, all the rules of cobra, you come up, the legs come up, we widen the legs. As we exhale, we bring the heels to touch, and then lower down. You'll inhale at the same time you're lifting the legs, you're opening them up about the width of the mat, neutral neck. Exhale, pull them together, squeeze, and then lower. Slow motion, slower than you think. Inhale, lift, open, hold, exhale, pull them together, pause there, lower it down. You can keep lowering in between, but this next one I'm gonna hold up and we're gonna go in and out 3 times. So inhale, open, exhale, close. Keep lifted, inhale, open, exhale, close. I want to have a little bit of the belly drawing in. Inhale, open. Exhale, pull it in and lower it down. Just rest. You could do longer holds on those exhales. Squeeze the legs and hold to your amount of breath capacity, really. Take a moment. Oh my
That
goodness.
is the most difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's the hardest of all.
Yes.
For me.
So,
Me too.
I agree. You have no argument for me. So from there, we're just gonna come onto our back. So roll on. Mike was naturally going there.
Way to move in position, Mike.
Yeah.
Go right on your backs. Here we go. Remember, if your neck needs it, you're gonna bring your blanket in, which you kept close by, placing the blanket under the neck. Beautiful. And we're gonna do our knee to chest a couple times. That will be the neutralizer for those cobras. So let's get our hand, one hand on each knee. Arms are extended. We did these at the beginning of class. As you exhale, draw the knees to the belly. As you inhale, extend them back. Exhale, bring them in. Inhale, send them back. Nice and slow motion. Exhale, pull in. Remember, the navel's drawing in as you're doing this motion. Inhale, the navel expands, belly softens. That'll be our last one. Let's do one more. Draw it in. Good, and then bring it down to the ground. Okay, so if you did place something under your head, I'm sorry, you need to remove it right now, because for bridge, we don't want anything under the neck. So get that out of the way. And there's a reason for that. We don't want to have that pressing the head up more than it should be. What you can do though is kind of lift your head and set the back of the skull down so that you get some length in the back of the neck. Bring your hands alongside your hips. You might even reach and see if you can tickle your heels, but it's not necessary. The feet could be a little further from that. You're gonna lift with an inhale. The pelvis lifts, you press firm into all 4 corners of the feet. The knees track in line with the hips. As you exhale, lower it down. Try to articulate by drawing the navel in and lowering with the strength of the core. Let the tailbone rest. Inhale, press, lift. Feel the chin was going to naturally start to come closer to the chest, but it's more because you're lifting the chest to the chin. As you exhale, use that transverse abdominis, all the abdominals wrapping in, and you lower it down 1 vertebrae at a time. When the tailbone rests, you rest for a moment. When you're ready to take an in-breath, we'll lift it up 1 more time. And exhale, lowering it down. Just adding in a single arm lift. So as you inhale, your right arm's gonna travel up and over and behind. It's gonna land on the floor behind you. As you exhale, the hand comes down, the hips come down. You try to keep the hips square, keep the core engagement. Let your head turn left. When you're ready to inhale, bring the head back to center, lift the hips, and the left arm will travel up and over. As you exhale, the hips are going down, and the hand comes down, and the head turns to the right. Track those knees lightly, don't let them splay as you come up. Okay, so as you inhale, we're gonna come up, and the right arm's gonna come up and go over. As you exhale, keep those knees tracking in line with the hips, keep the core engaged, let it lower down, nice and slow, the head turns left. As we inhale, the head will come to center, the arm reaches up, you reach and lengthen the arm behind us, draw the navel in. As you exhale, lower the hand, lower the hips, and the head turns right. Come back to neutral with the head and neck, resituate, rock around, just get neutral with the knees bent. Take a pause there.
I don't know if we have time for all of it, but I have planned. We needed a full 90 minutes. We started a little late, but that's okay. We're gonna get it in. Guess what's next? The sideline hip strengtheners, and we're definitely doing those. So I'm gonna have you guys roll to your side. Let's all go to our right side. Go to your right side. And the setup for the sideline is very important, that we establish that the knees come in and the knees are in line 90 degrees with the hip, and that the shoulder also, that you're not too far forward or back, that your shoulder and your hip are in a nice straight line. Your arms can be out. You can support the head, with your bicep. The left hand can rest on the floor in front of you. You want to make sure your shins are coming out nice and straight. So not back here, Levon, but here with the feet. Yes. And now bring the knees closer in towards your chest. That's it. Now, I just like to get my head on my bicep. Make sure, now as I looked at myself, my one knee was behind the other. Make sure the sacrum is nice and level and square. The two knees, if you look at them, are in a nice straight line. Then from here, we're gonna lift the leg up just in the position it's in that shape, but we're not gonna lead with the lower foot. We wanna try to keep the upper leg and lower leg moving together. Lift up like a clam, and as you exhale, lower it down. Just to where it barely touches. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it down. Let's do two more. Inhale. And exhale. And last one, inhale. And exhale. All right. Taking the leg and extending it now. The top leg extends straight down the mat. So it's coming down. If you were a clock, your head is at 12 and your leg is at 6. And then from there, you're gonna lift the foot up and you're gonna lift the leg, and then the toe and the whole leg is gonna kind of point down a little bit. It's called an internal rotation of the femur. Once you've got that, we're gonna let that foot drop a little bit. As we inhale, we're gonna lift it up to maybe about 60 degrees. As you exhale, bring it down, you might tap the toe. Inhale, lift it up, get the feel of working that leg. Exhale, slow, touch it down. Let's do two more. Inhale and exhale. I lied. We're going to go two more from here. 5 of each. Inhale and exhale. One more and exhale. So from 6 o'clock, we're going to go to 5 o'clock, which for me, I just take it so it's kind of right over the heel of the right foot. And we're going to keep the same internal rotation. As we inhale, we're going to lift that left leg up. Ooh. Exhale, touch. Anybody feeling this? Inhale, lift it up. Exhale to touch. Not quite, don't let it relax though, right? Try to keep a little bit of effort in there. I think that's 3, 4. Inhale up. Exhale down. All right, now we're going to bring it around so that it comes into we did 6, 5, 4 o'clock. Come in a little bit further. You're not quite in line with the other knee yet. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it down. Hold. Inhale up, 2. Exhale down.
3, inhale up, exhale down, 4, exhale down, 1 more, 5, exhale down. Okay, one more. Bring it up to the 9 o'clock position where the two thighs now are back in line but the toes extended. As you inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring it up. Make sure you're still level in the pelvis. You haven't slipped back in the upper hip. 2, lift up. 3, lower down. Lift up. 4, lower down. You got this. Lift up. 5, lower down. Rest. We're not done. Just rest for a second. So this is going to go in 2 directions. We're going to make a circle with the leg. So we're leaving it right in line now. The 2 legs are stacked and the top leg is at 9 o'clock. We're going to lift the leg up at 9 o'clock. We're going to bring it around behind us to 6. Drop the leg down. Sweep it forward along the floor to 9. Lift up at 9, circle it back to 6, drop the leg there, and then sweep it along the floor back. One more time, lift it up, rotate it around, keep the angle on the foot, bring it back. All right, we're switching it now. Now we're gonna sweep it low along the floor to 6. We're gonna lift up at 6 and then circle it around, bringing it to 9. Sweep it along the floor, bring it back, lift it up, bring it around and set it down. One more time, sweep, lift, rotate it, bring it around and let it rest. Yeehaw! Was that great?
That was awesome.
All right, we'll roll it over. The camera gets my best side now. All right, you get to see it from behind. So we're doing the same setup here. We want to get the knees. Everything in the setup is really important. And this little piece of like one knee is sliding forward or back, it means that your pelvic, the lower back is not nice and straight. So you want to get that squared up. You can support your head on your bicep. And then you could even bring a blanket in here. I guess that's in the book too, that you could always put your head on a blanket. So why not make yourself comfy in the upper body? All right, so the clams first. Once we've got that, we're gonna just lift the leg. Try not to lead with the foot. We want the whole leg to kind of come up and go down together. Don't let it completely rest. Lift, and just come down close. 3, we're gonna do 5 of each. 4, 1 more, 5, good. And now let the leg go long, so the leg is right out at 9 o'clock. No, not 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's going right in for the knee. So turn the toe down, and we want to get that internal rotation lift, and then lower. Make sure the top hip hasn't slid back. I just had to catch myself. Slow her down. Inhale to lift, that's 3, and 4, and 5. All right, from 6, we're going to 5 o'clock, so just bring it in a little bit, and then bring the leg up. Inhale, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, coming in, 4 o'clock, not quite to 90 yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, one more position, bring it into the 9, and we've got this. 1. If you need to stop, stop, right? If you can only do 3, there's no good here in hurting yourself. We've got a warring of the feet over here. 3, 4, oh my God, 5. Okay, don't leave me yet. We're gonna do the circles. Let's come up, over, and around to 6, and then sweep close to the floor back. Inhale, open it up, roll it back, bring it around, sweep it around to 9. We lift up high, we rotate up to 6 in the circle, and then sweep along the floor. That was 3, we're gonna change directions. We're gonna sweep along the floor from 9 to 6, and then lift up there and rotate forward. We're just reversing the circle. Bring it around, there's 2. Sweep it back, open it up, and bring it around. There's 3. Okay, roll onto your back. that was the strengthening, right? Because we want to strengthen the stabilizers for the hip. So strengthening and flexibility. Okay. So there are the extended leg poses with the belt, which are the ones where we had the foot in and we go open and we cross and we open and we cross and we open and we cross. I think I'm going to skip those tonight. 2 reasons. I did not give you a belt, and we're running low on time. So the page is there, and that's pretty straightforward. We had the strap, and we brought it across, we brought it to this side. We have the knee bent for these people. Don't forget, it's different than what you might have experienced before. We're opening to the side, and we're crossing it over a few times. That's that with a belt. We're gonna skip right to the leg cradle stretch. So let's take the left ankle onto the right knee. It would have been beautiful though to put those in there, just saying, but I would need the full 90. All right, so pull the thigh in. You're gonna just grab behind the thigh. And this is your reclining pigeon, leg cradle stretch. She recommends letting that knee kind of rock side to side that we're holding. You could even do some little tiny circles with it, where you let the knee kind of move in a circle on the ceiling. Yeah, so you let that play a little bit, support your head if you need it. If you're doing circles, do them both ways. Give it a draw, and you should feel right where we just worked, right? The piriformis. All right, releasing that side out. Just pause, take a second there, just reset the pelvis. I like to just lift for a little tiny reset. And then we'll switch, right ankle on left. We pulled the thigh toward us. If that's available to you, if not, you can always keep the foot on the floor. And then again, that little tick-tock, you will find a nice little sweet spot. You can rock it a few times in and out. There's a theory to going in and out like that and giving your body time. Then maybe some circles. Each direction, play with that. And then we're gonna let that release down. And both feet back to the earth. Beautiful. We got one more thing. We're gonna do the lying twist. Okay, so for the lying twist, it's different than what we might have experienced in classes where we draw the knees toward us. Get your feet planted on the earth and take the right ankle and cross it over the left knee. So you're sitting cross-legged, basically. Nice little cross-legged. Now, I would say just walk that foot that's on the floor a little bit over to the right, just a touch. Lift your hips and just let them shift a little bit that way. We're gonna go in. You're gonna keep the foot on the ground. You go into the twist, knees go to the left, your arms can rest to the sides, and then you're gonna inhale, bring them back. As you exhale, you're gonna let them go. I use my right toes as like a little break for this. Inhale, come back to center, get it all the way back to level, and then exhale, bring it over. Let's go one more time, in and out. And then the next time you go in, just stay in. You could always bring in a block or a bolster underneath the knees to support you here. Just stay with it, breathe. And then using the foot on the ground to help you, both feet, just pull it back to center, undo the legs, place your feet down. When we go into a twist, it tends to pull our pelvis out of neutral. Lift your hips and just bring them back to center. Keeping the right foot on the floor, take the left leg and cross it over. You'll inhale, and as you exhale, the knees will go in to the twist, just part ways, and then you'll exhale, bring them back. No, that's inhale to bring them back. Exhale to twist. Always exhaling into the compression, inhaling back into the expansion. You feel the little massaging of the sacrum? Exhale, roll it in. Inhale back, and we'll stretch into the core. And this one will go in, and we'll just kind of let the legs fall into where they feel best. Again, it's always an option to bring a block or something in. I like a block, I just don't have one here handy. Several breaths. If you ever feel like this is too much, you can always undo the knees crossing and just let the knees stack. All right, with the help of the feet, press the feet in to bring it out of the twist. Come back to neutral. Let your knees stay bent for a moment here. Let's go ahead and slide the knees in and grab one hand on each knee. And we'll just end here, exhale, pull the knees to the chest. As you inhale, reach them back. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, lengthen them back. And last one, just pull the knees in. And as you exhale, feet will go out. Find that round bolster that you brought with you to prop under your knees. So you can get a little Shavasana rest here. We've gone through quite a gamut of the exercises of the low back program tonight. It's your final class. Let the knees support. You want support under the head, support the head. You could cover up with a blanket. The idea here now is to integrate the work, allow the body to come into complete relaxation, and we start to realize how our tension adds to our pain, right? That's part of really learning how to relax and be in the breath. So let your eyes close. I'm going to go ahead and close down the lights. Feel the support. You want to make sure at this point you're not feeling any tugging at the low back. It's completely comfortable. Your palms can rest at your sides or they can rest on your belly. Begin to let go of all of the control, all of the tension, all of the thinking mind. At this point, you just relax. Bringing your awareness down into the toes. Letting everything from the tips of your toes to the hip points get heavy. Almost like the bones of the legs are melting down into the earth and taking the flesh with them. Allow the breath to come down into the belly and travel into the hips, the buttocks, the low belly. Letting the whole region of the sacrum get heavy and relaxed into the earth. No tension in the lower body. With your next inhale, let the belly rise. With the exhale, soften the low belly, the middle belly, the chest, the low back, middle back and upper back. The shoulders relax down into the mat, the shoulder blades just softening. Let the breath move down the arms. Your fingers are soft. Palms are relaxed. Arms are just feeling heavy. No tension, nothing to carry, nothing to do. Bringing the awareness up into the upper neck, the jaw. The cheeks are soft. The tongue is soft in the mouth, maybe a little space between your teeth. Eyes are relaxed in the sockets. The forehead is smooth. There's nothing to think about. Letting go of thinking. Dropping into being. Still, expansive, relaxed, calm, centered, peaceful. As you're ready, begin to let the breath get a little deeper and fuller. At home, you could stay in this position as long as feels good for you. At the end of the day, it could be your relaxation before bed. Begin to wiggle the fingertips and the toes.
Maybe circle the ankles and wrists. You could let the head move a little bit side to side, waking yourself up slowly. And when you're ready, you can take a little stretch with the arms. And as you exhale, hug those knees in. Make your way slowly into a side position. And in your own way, in your own time, coming back to a comfortable seat. All right, we'll just come into our easy seat for a moment and pause. I would just like to take a moment to thank all of you for taking this journey with the low back program with me for this time. I know that we had the little interruption of COVID, the little interruption, we got started, had to stop. I'm really appreciative of you that came back and decided to complete this now. I plan to continue to offer this. I will depend on you guys to give me good feedback. I want the feedback, like if something wasn't working, tell me, you know, like, hey, maybe we could do more of this or less of that. It will help me to improve. And I always am looking for room to improve. I also would appreciate spreading the word. I will be posting the next session, which will start probably right around November 1st and run before Christmas. So we'll squeeze it in there. So spread the word that we're running this program to other people that might need it. I will have this up on YouTube probably by tomorrow and send you guys the links as soon as you send me my evaluation. How's that? I'm going to hold it ransom. So I do need the evaluation forms for Robin. So thank you.